I'm out here today and I'm working on this old F-250 flatbed that we started getting going about 2 years ago. So this is August 2025. I guess it was September or so of 2023 when we pulled this thing out of the field where it had been sitting for years, and we were going to try to get it going, and got the transmission installed, and we're getting ready to try to get it fired up when my dad started getting sick. And so it turned out he had pancreatic cancer, and he passed away in November, about 6 weeks after we were shooting the video of putting the transmission in. But you know, a lot of stuff has happened, and I did try one time to see if I could get it running, and it wasn't firing. So today I'm going to do an install for a HEI distributor on this 460, and I know that a lot of people are going to consider that sacrilege, but just see what I'm dealing with here. So when I started trying to get it running, it's not firing. And if you've ever been under the hood of one of these old Ford trucks with electronic ignition, I mean, it could be the distributor, it could be the coil, it could be this control box over here. You've got all this wiring everywhere. And I know there are a lot of people that'll say, oh, you should just, you know, put a Duraspark, and Duraspark's as good or better than HEI. But at the end of the day, an HEI is it's a one-wire install. Everything's together. I've had good luck in the past with HEI, so that's what I'm going to do. And I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try to put this thing in time, make sure that it's set up at top dead center on number 1 on the camera. Position that way to see that, but I'll try to get it in time, get it set to top dead center. I mean, it should be in time, but I'll try to get it set to top dead center. I'll try to get a light on it and see if I can get a shot of that, and we'll go from there. Unless I have to get in the middle of a dog fight. I got a ratchet on the bolt on the crank, and I have turned this thing around, and on this 460 it was a 7/8, so I had seen something somebody else did on YouTube, and they had mentioned a 15/16, but in this one it was a 7/8. So I got it turned around, it's on top dead center. Let me see if I can get a shot in here of what that looks like. Alright, maybe you can see that. Well, if I didn't move. There we go. Alright, so maybe you can see that. So I got a mark there at top dead center, and that's pretty close. So now I'm going to go ahead now and pull the plug wires. I'll go ahead and number those before I pull them. Figure out the firing order on this thing. Something I probably should have done before I started. And then I will pull that cap and see where that rotor's pointed. And one other thing I'll mention while we're talking about. So the main reason that I decided to make this video is because I saw a lot of back and forth about how to wire these things up. And I saw somebody who said that it was this white wire in this 2-wire connector with the red and the white that's going into this electronic control unit, that white wire is hot during, I guess it would be accessory and cranking. And I did see in the video comments, of course, somebody said, no, it's not the white wire, it's the red wire. So I'm going to check that out. Interestingly enough, it does look like on the other side of this plug, there might be a red wire. Is that red? I can't really tell what color that is. So the white wire is definitely not white on the other side of the plug. That might be red, and that would be the wire that you would tap into. So maybe they were both right, but we're going to see if we can figure that out. And then the other thing I saw was that apparently somewhere between that plug and the switch is a resistor, and that resistor steps it down from 12 volts to like 6 to 9 volts or something. So you're not getting a true 12 volts out of that wire. And I guess what I'm going to do, I've thought about it. So I'm going to install a relay, and I'm going to use that wire as a trigger, and I'm going to come straight off the battery, and then I am going to make sure that I'm getting a full 12 volts to this distributor. So I'll go ahead, label these wires, figure the firing order out, pull this cap, and we'll see what we got. Also, you'll notice that there are no plug wires. I decided that I'll probably end up replacing the plug wires. A couple of those were in pretty bad shape, and I generally didn't like the way they were routed. So with that said, I just went ahead and pulled everything. Also, you'll notice that I pulled the wiring and pulled a lot of the electronics off. So I cleaned the engine bay up a little bit. And now, if you look right here on the top of this, there is a number 1. So you'll see that the button is pointed to number 1. The rotor is pointed to number 1. So this rotor is pointed to this number 1, what would have been number 1 spark plug. Alright, so we're in time. I had it 180 out. I had to double check that. So I guess now we should take a look at the distributor that we're going to be putting in. Alright, here's the new distributor that just came in this generic box. Here we go. Oh, looks like I bought blue. It's been sitting in the truck for 2 years. I didn't even remember what I ordered, but here it is. So let me see if I can set this thing up where we can take a look at it. Alright, hopefully that works. So looks like I went ahead and ordered the pigtail. So on this HEI distributor, the red wire is going to be power that we're going to run, and the green wire would be for a tachometer, if you had a tachometer. I've got no tachometer, so I won't be running that. I don't know, I may see if I can pull that out of there, depin it. If not, I may just cap it off. installation instructions. Oh. We got a wrench for the vacuum advance. Gotta love free tools. And you know, here's the thing. This whole unit off Amazon is just stupid cheap. I mean, I don't remember what I gave for this thing, but you know, $40 to $60 for this big chunk of metal. I need to find some assembly lube, so before I put it together I want to put some assembly lube on here. And then this is basically a hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. 6. So this is going to sit down onto the oil pump. So when you drop this in, you got to line this up with the oil pump, drop it down. This is going to line up with the gears, and it's always going to twist in a little bit when it drops down and seats. I might have to grab a screwdriver. These little things are spring loaded, so you push down on this and twist, and these come off. Alright, so when we get this off, there's our button. I'm not sure that it really matters how this thing's oriented when it goes back together, as long as you've got enough room to turn it to adjust your timing, and wherever this is pointed, you start as number 1. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody in the comments will let me know. But the reason they included this little Allen wrench is because this has an adjustable vacuum secondary, so you can take this little wrench, you can put it down in here, and you'll be able to adjust timing once we get it running, if we get it running. I'm sure by now you've probably noticed there's no carburetor on the engine, so that's a whole other deal. But let's take this thing over here and see if we can get it dropped in. Let me give you a rundown now of where we're at. So I traced out some wires and used a test light to determine that the wire that was going to the coil, which was one of the wires in this connector right here, I think it was a red wire, that wire was hot with accessory on and during cranking. So I rerouted that wire over here to the firewall. Oh yeah, and new starter solenoid. So rerouted that over to the firewall. We've got a relay there, and from there I've got 12 volt hot coming back, and there's our one wire into the distributor right there. I did go ahead and depin the tachometer wire and pull that out, so if we decide later that we want to if we decide later that we want to run attack, I can always add that back. But now, since Jackson is here on a break from sanding the truck he's working on getting painted. Hi, Jackson.
Hi.
We're gonna ask Jackson to get in the truck and turn it over. I've got the timing light hooked up. We're hooked up to the #1 spark plug, which I had to actually wrap a wire around the plug and run it up to get my light to pick up. It wouldn't pick up through the sheet. But I'll just point this down here. I'll let Jackson turn it over and you'll see that we are getting fired. Go ahead, Jax. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but one more time, Jax. All right. So we are getting fire, and I would really love to hear this thing run. So what I've done is I have taken an old tank from, like, I don't know, a lawnmower or something, and I've got that plumbed into the fuel pump. So we're gonna put a little gas in this thing and see if we're getting gas out of that. Oh, and I put the carburetor on, but I'll be honest, as long as this thing's been sitting and the carburetor was off and like over in this bucket, so I just blew some air through it and around and put it back on. But I would be shocked if the carburetor doesn't need some attention. But we're going to put some gas in it and we're going to turn it over and we're going to see if we can get gas out of that filter, and if we can, we're going to hook that up to the carburetor and see if this thing might accidentally try to start. All right, we got a little gas in our tank, and so we're going to let Jackson get in and turn it over. Jack's just turned it over, and let's see if we can get any gas coming out of this filter here.
Tell me when to stop.
All right.
Ready?
Yep. Try it again.
Give it a little gas.
Give it a little gas. That won't do anything. That's actually just all carburetor. Just keep turning it over. Keep turning it over. Well, hang on a second. Oh, I see the problem. What's going on down here? This is definitely an issue. All right, we'll address that. Stand by, Jax. Well, that definitely wasn't what I was hoping to see. So, set our tank down there. All right. So, yeah, that definitely wasn't what I was hoping to see. I don't know exactly what's going on. We've got a big puddle of gas under the truck, and I had Jackson turn it over a couple more times, and I can actually see gas shooting out of the pump and into the block. So it appears as though maybe, I don't know, maybe a hard line, maybe there's a hard line busted. I'm just gonna have to I'm gonna have to dig into it some more. But so plan B, I'm just gonna pour some gas down the carburetor and let Jackson turn it over and see if this thing will crank. I don't have any idea that it's going to start. All I'm going to do is pour a little bit of gas down the carburetor and let you turn it over. I mean, I'd like to hear it start, but we'll see.
Tell me when.
Turn it over. Give it a second. Huh? That's flooding. Are you giving it any gas?
No.
Give it gas. All right, push it to the floor and crank. Hang on.
Right there.
Hang on. All right. Hang on. All right.
Gas,
No gas. All right, so unfortunately now instead of just gas, we seem to be getting oil and gas as we've turned it over a little bit. I honestly have no idea. So I guess I'm going to go to Google and the forums and try to figure out what could possibly be going on there. I didn't get where I wanted to today. I really wanted to hear it run, but at least I'm getting fire, and I think if we can figure this fuel pump thing out, that I think we'll be able to get it done. So anyway, I think the HEI distributor is solid. Work out the other issues and should be good to go.